everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Kaye Thompson, and this is the newest episode of A Lesson in Real Estate. On our last episode, I shared with you some information about a new type of housing solution that is available in certain parts of our country and other countries. I shared with you how affordable it was, how durable it was, and how it is something that could change the landscape of housing in not only my community but your community as well, and how this solution could possibly help to solve our housing crisis. I also explained that I would share in a subsequent episode information about a few other alternative housing solutions that are available, which are both affordable and practical for the right person, depending on your individual's or familial situations. So with that being said, today we're going to discuss 4 additional types of alternative housing that is affordable, that is durable, and can suit the needs of different individuals and different lifestyle types. Those affordable home types are tiny houses, container housing, manufactured, modular, and mobile housing, and then my all-time favorite, a new housing solution that I think is going to take off once more and more people get wind of it, and that is going to be the boxable homes solution. So we'll start with tiny houses, and I'll explain a little bit to you about what tiny houses are, what some of the common characteristics are, and then you as the viewer can assess if this particular and all the other subsequent housing solutions might be viable for you, based on the information that is shared today. So tiny houses are kind of a new phenomenon they're not necessarily new, but they're becoming more and more popular because of our current housing market crisis. We have this national shortage, and people are scrambling to find affordable homes. For those of you who know anything about what's happening in our current markets, you realize that we have several different things in play that are affecting people's ability to either get new housing that's affordable or to be able to maintain their current housing solution. As it stands right now, there are several things that are adversely affecting our housing markets. One of them is just being the sheer number of houses that are available. That is due to lots of different things, but the main things are, number one, is that building new builds has some difficulty getting done or getting started late last year and then the earlier part of this year because of the situations with the supply chain and logistics as it relates to getting things into our country from other countries. There was a wood shortage, which is actually working itself out in certain realms. We've also had issues with other things such as steel and just other materials that you would need to build a home. That's the biggest obstacle, because builders were having such a hard time finding some of these materials for a while. And I'll even go so far as to say that we had even appliance shortages at one point. But the issue, that issue of just having the lack of necessary materials to complete housing builds delayed a lot of builders from being able to finish existing products and projects and even to start new ones. And so once that information started hitting the airwaves, people who might have been thinking about selling a home that they currently owned to buy something bigger, or so they can move to another area, whatever the case may be. They were having difficulty finding, that type of housing that they wanted. And so they decided, hey, we're just not going to move, which caused, in part, it was partly a cause for pricing to go up for existing home listings, and at such point knocked out lots of people. We had droves of buyers in our market, and we still do have droves of buyers in our market, and I mean the national market, that were looking for homes and that are still looking for homes and are either finding themselves in multiple bidding wars, multiple offer bidding wars, and, you know, just trying to figure out how they can afford decent housing and, you know, take a step up from their current living situation. So that was one of the things. The other thing is that we're having an experience where we don't have enough actual physical hands to help build these homes in the traditional way. And that, I think, is a bigger issue than the materials, because we could have all the materials in the world, but if there is no one available to build the homes, then they still don't get built. So that's why these additional options that I'm sharing, which started with the last episode in the 3D print housing, and these options that I'm giving today could be viable ones for you, so that you can avoid having an extended wait time, you know, to have your home being built from the ground up, if that was something that you were considering. And it also solves the issue, or could solve the issue, of affordability. So I digress there for a few minutes. Let's go back to the subject at hand, which was tiny houses. So there are some typical characteristics of tiny housing. Usually, tiny houses range from between 100 to 400 square feet of living space. You can find some tiny houses, or there are some companies that'll build, you know, houses that are a little bit bigger than that, but really they don't go beyond between 600 to 700 square feet. So I think a tiny house is great for a single person, maybe your young college student, young adult that is, you know, trying to figure out their place in the world and, you know, where they want to be. It's also a great way to add on, say, an in-law suite if you're looking for a way to move your parents in with you and you don't really like your current home and don't want to sell it, or you know, look for additional accommodations for your parents. Tiny houses are also great ways to, you know, entertain house guests. They can have their space and privacy while they're staying with you, and things can continue in your current main house at the same level that they were going, without, you know, a lot of disruption. The interior space in most tiny houses is about 8 feet wide, and so you're working with about 8 feet from one interior wall to the other interior wall. It's definitely something that you have to really think about with these tiny houses is the amount of space that you have. Although lots of tiny houses I've seen have been built in such a smart way, they do allow for great storage, but you still have to be very careful about the things that you want to keep in a tiny house, because they can fill up with stuff pretty quickly just because of the limited amount of space that you have. Most tiny houses have at least one big window, so that you can get out of the tiny house if your door is not accessible due to some natural disaster or some other event occurring that is preventing you from being able to use that. The ceilings in most tiny houses are usually at least 6 feet or higher, taller. So if you're a tall person, you might want to opt for a tiny home that has 8 feet. And typically, that's what a lot of people are doing now. They're opting for more space above head so that they can use that space not only for standing up in the tiny home, but for, you know, storage and smart ways to keep things. The other great thing about tiny houses is that they can either be mobile or they can be situated and remain stable. So you can build a tiny home on a little foundation. You can build them on slats. You can build them conventional foundations, and you can even put wheels on them and make them mobile so that you can hitch them to a truck or an RV and be able to take that home with you if you need to leave, or if you're planning on moving to another city or state or what have you. So tiny homes are a great feature, have great features for, someone who's living alone, or, like I said, any of those other options that I mentioned previously. In addition to tiny homes having these basic characteristics that I just named, you can also have tiny homes that are built that are self-sustaining, meaning that they are not using electricity that is produced by your local utility. You can build tiny homes so that they produce their own, solar electricity, and that they have their own water sources and things of that nature. And that is actually the case with every single option that we'll present today. So I'm going to now show you just a picture of what a tiny home could look like. That's one that's on a foundation. And I also encourage you to go to YouTube to check out any of these types of homes that I'm speaking of today for yourself. They have different models, they have different designs. Tiny homes and all of these properties types can be made out of different materials. And so in order for you to get a full view of what's possible in a tiny home, I suggest you do that. YouTube is a great place for you to just see what's going on in that realm with these particular types of homes, and it'll help you to make a more informed decision about whether or not you want to try one. So the next type the other type of characteristics that a tiny home can have is that or that they all have, I should say, is that they are typically built custom according to the International Building Code or the International Residence Code. And for those of you who don't know, the International Building Code is also the same code that regulates, the environmental features and things that surround a building. They regulate how buildings are constructed for our safety. They think about like I said, environmental impact that building properties can have on the land and such forth, and they create these codes to keep all of those things, safe and sustainable for us. So that's another great thing about tiny homes. Unless you're building one yourself, if you're buying a tiny home, it's probably going to be built according to either one of these codes. And you can look these up, just by Googling them so that you can read them for yourself, or like I said, by going to YouTube and searching out information for them. Now, the next type of home that I'm going to discuss is one that I think is a little bit more familiar to people. I think people were fascinated by these when they first started becoming popular, just because of what they were made out of. And so that, without further ado, I'll go ahead and share with you what that is. The next type of home is a container home. And for those of you who don't know what a container home is, I'll have a slide that shows what one could possibly look like. But container homes are basically built from old containers from cargo trains. These homes, containers, can be purchased for very little money, and it doesn't take much to convert them into standard housing. They can be built to suit a single person or a large family. If they're designed properly, additional containers can be added later on to increase the square footage of the home. They are usually attached to permanent foundations. They're durable, meaning they can withstand different severe weather situations because of what they're built from, which is usually iron and steel. They can be made to be energy efficient, which is a great cost savings. They can be assembled quickly depending on, how you came about getting your containers. So if you use a company to create the home for you, the container home for you, you're probably, you know, based on what you're wanting and what your design is, you can get that done fairly quickly. Of course, it'll take a little time if you're, you know, doing it yourself. So at this point, I'm going to show you a quick slide and show you kind of what a container home looks like. Usually for a family of 4, people will buy 4 containers. And if you want something more elaborate and bigger, you would add on to those 4. And I think 4 containers would maybe get you around 2,000 to 2,500 square feet. So it easily fits a family of 4. The next group of homes that we'll speak about are the manufactured, modular, and mobile homes. Manufactured, modular, and mobile homes tend to confuse people, those names. People really don't understand what makes them different from one another. So I thought that I would share a little bit about that with you today. Most people have heard of all 3. Manufactured, modular, and mobile homes. They have been around for longer time than any of the other homes that we're mentioning on today's episode. But I thought it would be great, like I said, to just share with you some information about how these homes are different. So with modular homes, they are planned out and designed in one place. And then the pieces are created in that place. And then those pieces are brought to your homestead site and placed there and assembled. So that is what a modular home is. I mean, I'll have pictures of all of these for you to see. Modular homes, if you don't see them being added to a homestead site, usually you don't even know that's what it is. They have some very simple modular homes that they can create for you, different companies, and they also have very elaborate modular homes that they can create for you as well. You could, in most cases and in most places, go to a company that that sells manufactured or mobile homes and possibly find your modular home there as well. Manufactured homes are designed in a plant. They are also put together in a plant with the windows and the doors, and then they are moved to a homestead site and just kind of pop out. So they, you know, drop it down, and then they kind of just, you know, open it up, and then it's they're also put on foundations as well in most cases. Mobile homes are just that. They are homes that can be moved from one place to another. Now, a lot of people think, oh, a mobile home, I don't want to, you know, live in that because they don't always have good value. So mobile homes and manufactured homes are in essence the same thing. The main difference is that homes manufactured or mobile homes that were completed as far as construction, that were constructed before 1978 fall under the mobile home description. Anything manufactured after that that is built according to the HUD specifications, which is Housing and Urban Development. They have rules that are specifically set for modular manufactured mobile homes. So any homes built after 1978 are built according to the HUD home specifications, and those homes can be moved, added to a foundation, and you can get a mortgage for those just like you can the modular home or any other traditional home. One of the things that you would want to do, though, is if you're looking at financing one of these homes, you want to make sure that your lender is one that will accept this type of home as collateral for a mortgage. Not all lenders do, so you want to search that out before you begin your shopping for either one of these types of homes. And as it stands right now, we'll put up a few homes for you to see there, and that way you can take a look at these. So while you're looking at, while you're taking a look at the examples of the manufactured, modular, and mobile homes, you will see that they pretty much look like one another. And like I said, the main difference in them right now is that modular homes are planned out somewhere else. They are built somewhere else, and then they are brought to your homestead in pieces and put together on the homestead site. Manufactured homes and mobile homes are assembled somewhere else and brought to your homestead site and kind of popped out like, you know, a pop-up book. And those homes are placed either on a modular, on a foundation, or not, and you can live in them after they're, you know, constructed. These properties usually don't take a long time to get to the site for construction, but like I said, you really do want to speak to a lender before you purchase one of these homes, to make sure that you have your financing together for them, because most lenders, I think most lenders will give you a loan if it's on a foundation, but not all lenders do. And the final type of home that we're going to speak about today is the boxable home. And this home has really garnered, it's gotten quite a bit of attention in the last month or so, because Elon Musk, if for those of you who don't know who Elon Musk is the guy that helped invent PayPal. He is the current owner of SpaceX. He helped to design the Tesla cars. So he has his hands in a whole bunch of things, and he's, you know, got more than enough money to live in a very large and fantastic traditional build. However, he has chosen to spend some time in one of these boxable homes. And with the boxable home, they are built very similar to a modular home, which means that they're planned in another place and they're assembled in another place. They're actually put together in another place too. So I would say they're more like the, you know, modular home, manufactured home. I'm sorry, not modular, but they're more together, more like the manufactured home, and then they're moved in a lovely little box to your homestead. Like the container homes, you can use boxables, and you can add other boxes to increase the size of your current home if you wanted to do that. You can also get some very highly attractive finishes in these boxable homes. You can go to their website, which is www.boxable, which is BOXABL homes.com, and you'll be able to see kind of what their process is. They show you information about their factory. They have a factory in Las Vegas. You can look at how they construct the homes, what they do, you know, their design process, how they transport the homes to the home site, and what the process is for them to actually set that up for you. If you're just buying the regular standard boxable home, it looks a lot like a tiny home. They do have different floor plans. The one that's most popular right now is the Casita floor plan, and that is the floor plan that Elon Musk is living in currently by himself. But this Casita floor plan has a bedroom space. It has a full on kitchen space. It has a living space and closet space. They come with full-size appliances, so your full-size stove, refrigerator, and microwave. They're stainless steel. You can get granite countertops in these little babies. Just a plethora of different finishes that you would expect in a more upscale type of home. And like I said, you can add to these boxes other boxes to increase your square footage. Usually they want to sit boxables on a foundation. You don't have to do that, but it's in your best interest that you do. Sit them on a concrete slab foundation. Boxables are just as durable as a traditional home, and you can use those boxes for different things. So if you live in an existing site-built home, like a single-family residence, and again, going back to the example that I used previously, where you wanted to have an in-law suite, but you love your home, you can just get one of these boxables and have it delivered. All of these property types that I mentioned today, modular, manufactured, mobile homes, container homes, tiny houses, and boxables, are all properties that you can purchase starting at around $20,000. Now, the boxable home is going to start at about $40,000, $49,000, I believe, a little bit over that. But you also want to keep in mind that you want to have monies for other type of costs. So if you're having a tiny home built and sent to your built somewhere else and sent to a separate location, that would be the same with the container homes, as well as the manufactured, modular, and mobile homes, and the boxables. You do want to ask the person who is building that particular product for you about the cost to transport it to the local home site. If you're able to do that yourself, then great. Maybe you can save some money for that. I do know that at Boxable, they usually, the average price to put your Boxable on their great little truck and transport it from Las Vegas to wherever you are in this country is about $2 a mile. So that gives you an idea of about how much it might cost to get your product to you. And so with that being said, I hope that I've been able to shed some light on some alternative housing for you, especially if you're in a situation where you need to move and you're not exactly sure what to do because you can't find nice, affordable homes. Maybe this is a solution for you. I do know that in the areas that I serve, we have ways that you can purchase from our county properties that have been taken over due to individuals not paying property taxes. So that may be the case in your city or state. You should be able to check with your local government to figure out if that's the case. If you can get a residential lot that already has plumbing and waste disposal, sewer lines, electricity, that kind of thing already added to it, then those are costs that you can save on if you're thinking about using one of these types of home alternatives to live in. And you can also you take all of these types of homes and add them to an existing property and then connect them to the existing lines and things that you have for your existing home. So they're very easily able to be attached to something that's existing, or they can be the beginning of something new. And the main thing, though, is really for you to do research on each of these options. I think for myself, the container home and the boxable homes would be my two favorite. I love that the container homes are so durable. They're almost as durable as the concrete housing that I showed a couple of weeks ago on the previous episode for 3D print housing. And I'm also very, very much loving the idea of the boxable, because a lot of times, especially if you're not getting something too elaborate, the boxable can be put together in a matter of hours for you. So you could purchase land, order your boxable, and be able to be living in it, within a matter of a couple of days at best. And like I said, it does depend on the type of home that you're getting, or the number of boxes that you're getting to create the home that you want. But if it's just the one box for yourself, it's literally less than 24 hours from the time that they arrive on the homestead site with your boxable to the time that they are able to construct it. So I hope I've helped some of you out there with some alternative home options. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to sharing with you on the next episode of Housing Situation. Until next time, take care of yourselves and stay safe out there. I am Kaye Thompson, and this has been A Lesson in Real Estate. Bye now.